showdown in Monaco.
This is a very, very tough final table. There's some very, very good players.
As some of the best in the West take on the Macau boys.
这些都是世界上顶尖的高手，因为我们经常在澳门都有接触过。
Now we have 3 players at the final table, so that tells you something about their good playing style.
Most will be run out of town, because after the duel to end it all, only one can ride off into the sunset. It's high noon on the French Riviera and it's almost trophy time at the PokerStars and Monte Carlo Casino EPT Grand Final. 8 players are preparing to face off at the final table of the 100K Super High Roller. Well, the final 8 are all in the money, but not everyone is guaranteed to make a profit.
Well, Richard Young is guaranteed to make a profit because he owns a mining company in China, but Dan Coleman is in this tournament for 300,000 euros, so he has to finish 7th just to break even.
Richard is not the only player not that concerned about the money. 2 other Macau boys have made the final, with Rono Low coming in as chip leader.
But my hot tip for this event, all a Schemion. Unless you can get in on that whole Chinese mining thing, then I just go with that.
It's been an eventful journey for our final 8. They've battled through days of intense poker against the best in the world. Day 2 saw 37 players return. Big names crashed out early. Hansen, Selbst, and last year's champion Max Altegot. Causing most of the damage, Macau businessman Rono Low.
How much?
Well, 500. Oh, don't even ask how much.
He busted Daniel Negreanu
Good hand.
and Fabian Quas to become chip leader going into the final.
只要没有失误的话呢，我相信的话呢，前3名还是有机会的。
Joining Low are his friends Richard Young and Paul Poir. For these high-stakes players, it's all about the title. Ola Schemion is looking for a different kind of title, EPT 10 Player of the Year. Yet another great run for Schemion, pretty much cements it for him.
To become EPT Player of the Year would be a nice accomplishment for me.
3 heads-up specialists grace the felt today. The man they call Jungle Man is one of the most renowned online players in the world.
If I won this event, it would actually make people think that I'm not only good at online cash games, I'm also good at live tournaments.
Dan Coleman is in this tournament for 300 grand. He burst the final table bubble, eliminating Mike Timex McDonald.
Climax. That's how it works, man.
And Coleman's mentor, Olivier Busquet. He had a rocky journey to the final table. He was short, but had a timely triple up and then KO'd Phil Ivey.
I'm confident. I have a bunch of experience playing with some of these players. And, you know, if I continue to run well, I think I have a good shot.
Igor Kurganov has good memories of Monaco, but scraped into the final 8. He comes in as the short stack.
I won a high roller here about 2 years ago. I don't have a goal to win it right now. It would be pretty good, but I know that I gotta get lucky for that.
Everyone is now guaranteed a slice of the €6 million prize pool. The winner will receive the final Super High Roller trophy of EPT 10 and 1.8 million. So right now, Rono Low is the chip leader with 161 big blinds. Only 2 other players, Schemion and Kate, have above average stacks. Igor Kurganov is the short stack with fewer than 10 big blinds.
Kurgles is going to have to double up 3 times just to get above average. Yikes.
Blinds are currently 15,000 and 30,000 with a 4,000 ante. Action is on Richard Young. He folds. Busquet's out. Rono Low has ace-king.
Shorty got low. Are we going to see the classic high-low limp?
He does just call. This is what he did against Negreanu earlier in the tournament. He trapped Dean eggs and busted him.
Limping isn't really recommended in general, but if you're gonna do it, you at least want to make sure you balance it with some bad hands too.
Folder to Schemion on the button. He calls with Queen 4 suited. Wires in from the small blind. Cates checks his option.
And now we've got more limping than the day after leg day.
So 4-way to the flop. And it's Cates who flops best. Second pair. Action's been checked to low.
I think checking here is probably fine. You can't win it with a C-bet when you're not even C-betting. Or, or betting too, that works.
He makes it 54,000. Well, Schemion has a gut shot. He needs a 6 for a straight.
Yeah, when you limp in, you let all kinds of random hands in, hands that aren't folding.
Schemion calls. Poir folds. Cates throws in 54k, and we're going 3-way to the turn.
Two very understandable calls on this flop.
Schemion takes the lead with top pair. Cates checks. Low slows down, he checks as well.
All is very likely going to bet this. He can maybe get value, but he certainly wants to protect against a lot of bad rivers.
Schemion makes it 111,000, gets a fold from Cates.
And with no heart in your hand, I think this is a fold most of the time.
If there's one thing we know about these Macau boys, it's they play unconventionally. Low check raises to 311,000.
Ronald Lowe doesn't have a heart in his hand, but he's got one in his chest. This play is a little unortho, but I think it might work. All it doesn't want to have to call this and then potentially have to call river when he could be drawing dead already.
Schemion not to know that he's an 86% favorite here. And he folds the best hand. Lowe's bluff gets through and he increases his chip lead.
Sometimes you have to fold the best hand, and better to do it now than on the river.
Lowe now playing a stack of more than 5 million.
You know, I've only covered one tournament in Macau. It was $1 million Hong Kong to buy in. Ronald Lowe made the final table there too. Something to this guy.
Well, this tournament cost 100,000 euros to play with unlimited re-entries. Coleman's the only player at the final table who rebought, and he did it twice. Action's on Lowe.
You look sleepy, gentlemen.
Cates possibly feeling the effects of a high-stakes cash game a couple of nights ago. He walked away from that game with a huge profit. So Lowe has raised with King 9 suited. Igor Kurganov has Ace 4 of clubs in the small blind.
Igor will be ahead sometimes with his stack size. He's going to be getting it in more often here than a circa 2009 Tiger Woods.
All in.
He shoves. Ola Schemion is in the big blind. And he's got Ace Queen.
Welcome to Coolersville. Saddest town in the world. Sadder than Detroit.
Call.
Schemion calls, putting Kurganov at risk. What's Lowe thinking about?
I don't know, but this could be the super cooler of the century if hearts come. But it's suited.
Forward.
He lets it go.
I have a close call.
Showdown.
Oh, looks good.
Close call.
What do you have?
There may be a language barrier here. Let's try charades.
King. King, queen?
Lowe's pointing at the hearts.
Good luck, Igor. Så det är med i pausen, no?
So Kurganov at risk. But he flops 2 pair.
Easy.
Kurganov now the big favorite.
Bingo 5.
And he's got Schemion drawing to a chop.
Ace. One more ace.
Kurganov doubles up.
Not enough. Good place. That's correct, right?
Igor's just bought himself a little more time. He's moved from 8th in chips to 7th.
Schon wieder Ace Queen. Yep. Was soll denn das, Igor? Was? Letztes Mal hatte ich gegen Ace Queen verloren, ziemlich viel.
Kurganov with around 20 big blinds.
Not for you, but.
So a min cash in this tournament is worth 241,000 euros. The winner will receive 1.8 million.
Not exactly life-changing money for the Macau boys. They want that title. Get the old office door reading chairman, CEO, and super high roller champion.
So it's a new level, 20,000 and 40,000 blinds. Action folded to Rono low.
Call.
And he limps from the cutoff with pocket sixes.
Lo and behold, this guy's in another pot. One of the benefits of not caring about the money.
Kurganov in the small blind has pocket tens.
I'm sure Kurgles would love to be able to 3-bet shove this, but he can't because there hasn't been a 2-bet yet. Lowe's limped a lot of good hands, but this is the smallest pair we've seen him do it with.
All in.
Kurganov shoving anyway. Schemion in the big blind with a monster.
Again?
All in.
He reshoves. This dynamic feels familiar.
And again, I think this is a no-go for Rano.
He folds. So Kurganov at risk again. This time he is racing.
When everyone's this good, you're gonna have to have flips.
Schemion is the player with the overcards. He needs to hit.
You're praying? Oh, I wouldn't expect that.
Doesn't need to pray. All has brunch with the poker gods every Saturday.
It's a good flop for Kurganov. He's now a 3-1 favorite.
What's this now? Rolled 2 smallest violins?
Schemion trying to summon an ace or a king on the river. 6 cards for Kurganov to fade. He gets another double up.
How much? 765.
And the words of Sir Mix-a-Lot, double up. And also, you can do side bends or sit-ups, but please don't lose that butt.
Kurganov now up to 1.6 million. I'd say he's now a serious contender in this tournament. What do you say? Use the hashtag EPT. We've yet to lose a player here at the final table of the PokerStars and Monte Carlo Casino EPT Grand Final Super High Roller. Earlier, Igor Kurganov had fewer than 10 big blinds, but after a few timely double-ups, he now has almost 50 big blinds and is back in the game.
Back in the game. He was never out of the game. Speaking of which, can I put him back on my fantasy team?
Blinds up to 25.50.
Sorry.
Action folded to Olivier Busquet. He passes. Rono low on the button. Has 5 deuce of hearts.
Hang on a second while he locates some chips.
That is a raise to 130,000. Coleman folds the small blind. Kurganov in the big blind with ace-6 of clubs.
Well, he can't really raise for value, but against a button raise, he definitely can't fold either.
He calls.
Plus, it's suited. Flush draw, baby.
Well, Igor pairs his 6. He checks to the razor.
And for low, this is actually a fine texture to continue when you brick this hard. I'd call this sort of a flaky, chewy texture.
He continues for 130,000.
He could also have checked and delayed c-bet on the turn.
Igor calls with bottom pair.
This pair is like skimpy underwear. You can't fold it.
6 of hearts on the turn. Trips for Kurganov. Low picks up a flush draw.
Speaking of not folding,
Kurganov checks a second time.
there are some hands Igor would be forced to fold to a second barrel here, but not all of them, and certainly not this one.
Low does bet a second time. 400,000.
The c-bet was small. This one is pretty big relative to the size of the pot.
Once again, Kurganov elects to call.
A just call, hoping low will fire again on the river.
Nearly 1.4 million in the middle. The river card is a 4, so the board bricks out for low. Kurganov checks for a third time.
This guy is fearless. He's been stationed twice now. Does he really think he can get Igor to fold? Looks like it.
He bluffs the river, a bet of 600,000.
If Igor comes to the conclusion Low wouldn't bet this small with a boat, he is gonna jam this like a piece of toast in a diner.
I'm all in.
Kurganov shoves. He check raises all in.
Let's give it a 3 count and then fold. 1, 2, 3. Hey, he did it!
Kurganov wins a huge pot. He chips up to 3.7 million.
He's trending right now. Oh, I don't like seeing low.
Holy shit. I think you're chip leader now.
What a run, huh?
Kurganov is indeed the new chip leader, and his friend Phil Gruesome has come to rail him at the final table. Both these guys have pledged 10% of their poker winnings to charity.
Phil Gruesome and I help a group of young Swiss guys with their charity work, which is called EACH. What Effective Altruism Switzerland does is figuring out the most efficient ways to use money that they're given, whatever will be the biggest impacts. So if we can help out with $1 one child in Europe, say to buy him one teddy bear while he is in an orphanage, then we only help him out this much. But if we go to Uganda, we can invest $1 in deworming a child and providing him with the medicine so that he's not going to have worms and a lot of pain for a whole year. And if you look at it like that, then you have a fairly obvious solution where you should give the $1 to. I met with the guys in Switzerland and was really amazed by their motivation and drive for that. They're all absolutely determined to really improve the whole charity game, basically, that is on right now, and to really find out what way needs to be pursued so that we can reduce the most suffering.
That is truly incredible. I like this guy. I really hope the aliens who are trying to decide whether or not to blow up the planet are watching this channel and not the Kardashians.
So we're still 8-handed at the final table of this super high roller. King Jack for Schemion. Action folded to him, and he raises. Pocket aces for Paul Poir.
Well, that's one of the best hands you can get.
And he starts the hand with just 16 big blinds, so I'd expect to see him move all in here. But he doesn't, it's just a small 3-bet. Pocket tens for Busquet in the big blind.
All in.
And he shoves!
Bring out the stretcher.
Olivier's wife Lorelei watching from the rail.
Slight silver lining. He's got Paul covered.
Call.
Poir calls.
That's not good.
No, it is not.
Maybe I should even fold there.
Hindsight is 20/20, but not 10/10.
Busquet's a 4-1 underdog. A bigger dog now.
No ace and some backdoors. Could have been worse.
His immediate outs are the 2 remaining 10s. His only outs are the 2 10s.
You're more likely to get a 10 from the Russian judge than you are to spike one here.
A 7 on the river, and Poir doubles up through Busquet.
I almost folded too. I mean, when he did his little thing, it was so obvious. Yeah, I think a little bit, not much.
This guy down here, total tell box. Have those chips in a second, sir. Unreal how lucky these guys get. Nice hand, sir.
This is tank and it's 3-bet.
Just if you think he goes all, like if he's just 3-betting aces and kings and then...
Yeah, I think he is, so I don't know. It's a big hand.
The master and apprentice with some post-match analysis. Meanwhile, Paul Poir is now 4th in chips, while Busquet is on life support with just 2 big blinds. But you can't give up. Igor Kurganov's already proved that. Anything can happen. He went from short stack to chip leader and is currently playing just shy of 3.9 million. So the blinds are now 30,000 and 60,000 with a 10,000 ante. Action folded to Igor Kurganov. Ace-king.
Egaz, Igor, get some.
He raises from early position, makes it 125,000. Dan Cates has pocket 10s in the cutoff. Jungleman calls. Olivier Busquet calls all in from the small blind with 8-9.
Pretty much had to do that with any 2. Might have had to do with Lowe's hand even.
Well, low folds. So Busquet's hoping to more than triple up. There's action on the side between Cates and Kurganov. Jack 9 on the flop. Cates' hand still best.
Busquet paired his 9. That's going to be frustrating.
Kurganov checks.
Doesn't continue. Why bluff a small side pot?
Kate's bets 135,000.
Igor probably still likes ace-king's value, though.
He calls.
Olivier probably liking those nines a little less now.
All he can do is sit there and just hope for the best. 7 on the turn. Kurganov checks a second time. And Kate checks behind. The river card is a 10. A full house for Kate, and poor Olivier Busquet. He rivers a straight and probably thinks it's good.
It's not.
Kurganov checks.
Kate's has definitely got to bet this. Bet and pray your opponent's got king-queen.
He bets. Igor folds.
You have a full house?
So sick.
And Olivier Busquet is eliminated in 8th place.
Sorry.
He walks away with 241,000 euros.
Good game, guys.
We just lost the best-dressed player at the table.
Good luck. Good game, guys. Good luck.
No doubt he'll be pulling for his good friend Dan Coleman.
And now he's got no choice but to return to his day job as a lawyer in the Deep South.
I think that's the river.
Out in 8th? Well, I object, Your Honor.
Dan Jungleman Cates is originally from Maryland in the US, but currently lives in London in the UK, and he's now playing a stack of 2.2 million after eliminating Olivier Busquet.
I thought I would do at least better. There were 4 opportunities to move up in the money, but the short stack won each time. Igor, skyrocketed up the chip stacks, so good for him. And, that big hand that I lost, it was a very difficult situation. I'm slightly regretting it now. It might be a little bit of a mistake. I think it's very close. So, I don't know. That's a tough hand.
Tougher than beating Contra without using the cheat code.
Cyril Mitzi has brought a gift for Jungleman.
If that's the thing from Borat, I'm out of here. Oh, thank God.
A jungle t-shirt.
I might have to change it or break.
Now, that's what I call a t-shirt.
She once folded a full house to quads. Now they all call her Princess Laydown.
Joe Stapleton.
Got him.
Folded to Dan Coleman on the button. He's got pocket jacks.
We're finally going to get to see this kid in action.
He raises to 125,000, gets a fold from Kurganov in the small blind. Schemion in the big blind has pocket nines.
We know Coleman's got a monster, but his button range is going to be wider than the director's cut of Lawrence of Arabia, so you can certainly see why Schemion would 3-bet this.
He has re-raised.
I'm all in.
Coleman responds by moving all in.
You're kind of hoping to get it all in here till it actually happens, then you're all gulp.
Schemion has not had a lot of good fortune at this final table.
I'll get the car warmed up.
The flop gives Coleman a set, but Schemion has an open-ended straight draw.
He traded 2 outs for 8, not bad.
Give me an ace. I want an ace.
Don't be greedy.
Oh, that smile.
It's a 7 on the turn, so same outs for Schemion. A king or an 8 needed to survive.
It's all fun and games until you miss the turn, then it gets real.
And he misses the river as well.
It was a little unlucky. If the hands were reversed, it probably goes down the same way. Yeah, Dan, I'm gonna miss him too.
Ola Schemion out in 7th.
Again.
I'll miss him, but I'm sure the rest of the table won't.
Schemion cashes for over 300k, having satellited into this tournament for 10k. And Coleman, who invested 300k, is now guaranteed a decent profit. Well, if you'd like to join us here in Monaco on the European Poker Tour, find out how by visiting PokerStars.com. Welcome back to the PokerStars and Monte Carlo Casino EPT Grand Final. 6 players remain in the Super High Roller, competing for a first prize of 1.8 million euros. Blinds are up to 5,100.
Wait.
And Paul Poir has shoved from under the gun with 8-7 suited.
It's a little loose, but not that loose with his stack.
Dan Coleman in the small blind has ace-jack.
Well, if Dan knows 8-7 suited is part of Paul's shoving range, ace-jack is an obvious call.
I call.
He does call. Kurganov folds.
I don't know how Dan would know that, though. Maybe they read each other letters.
So Paul Poit at risk and way behind.
Queen, queen, queen.
If you say that in front of a mirror, Freddie Mercury appears.
Paul Poit now has 7 outs. Looking for a 9, 8, or 7.
Not a club.
But he bricks the river
Nice play, you guys.
and is eliminated in 6th place.
I bet he just said, we're still billionaires.
Well, after eliminating Paul Poit, Dan Coleman moves over the 5 million mark.
Dan Coleman is heating up like a gas grill.
And we lose 1/3 of the Macau boys as we go 5-handed.
No, it's like when Curly died in City Slickers, only more Asian and with fewer horses.
Actions on Richard Young.
Richard Young is still here, all right.
He folds.
Oh, that's probably why.
Rono Low is out. Dan Coleman's got Queen 4 offsuit on the button.
Here comes that wide button range I'm always blathering about.
This is a raise to 240,000. Kurganov folds.
Got the pen.
And Kate is calling.
It's not big enough.
The raise. Get your minds out of the gutter.
Never will be.
Actually, now I'm not so sure.
The flop is 9, 8, 3. Ace high still good.
And this is one of those flops you whiff so hard that you can't really check behind.
Coleman set to continue. 325,000.
Cates is gonna have the best hand here against a button raise and a c-bet a bunch of the time, so he's probably gonna peel like a delicious jungle banana.
Cates calls. The turn card is the deuce of hearts. Coleman now has a flush draw. Cates is still ahead with ace high.
Firing again just got a lot more appealing now that Coleman would be semi-bluffing instead of tota bluffing.
$720,000 and Cates folds.
I can see why they call him Jungle Man now. Her suit. For Dan Coleman, it was a good spot for a multi-street bluff. On the flop, there are actually a decent number of backdoors to hit.
You got me, Mr. Greeny.
That's Coleman's online handle.
Coming for you, Jungle. You're big blind.
So what do we actually know about Mr. Greeny?
My name's Daniel Coleman. I'm 23. I'm a professional poker player. I mainly play online heads-up sim goes. I have a really good grind where I get great action. Every now and then I want to do something just to change it up a bit. So I come play a super high roller, just 1 or 2 a year. I was on the rail watching Olivier Bousquet play heads up sit and goes, and I was calling out his cards in certain spots, and every now and then I was right. We exchanged contact information, then he coached me a bit, then later on he gave me a stake.
I staked him for a little bit and I taught him a little bit, and then he became very good, and I actually have probably learned more from him than he's learned from me.
I don't think he regrets teaching me at all. He's like a brother to me.
He's probably my closest friend as a poker player. I see him kind of as a younger brother.
He's definitely happy for my success, and if he doesn't win, I'm sure he wants me to.
They do look like they could be brothers, and if you're wondering where Olivier's suit went, it's now Dan's hand-me-down.
Daniel Cates raises under the gun. And Rono Low shoves with King 9 on the button. Kurganov's got ace-jack in the big blind. And he calls.
That's usually a fold to a raise and a shove, provided one of the people isn't Rono Low.
So Rono Low, who started the day as chip leader, is now at risk. But he's got 2 live cards. He's not that far behind.
And he's got a live suit.
Nut flush draw for Low. Kurganov ahead with top pair. Eight outs for Rono Low. And he needs to hit one of them on the river.
Oh, red card, what a tease.
Low misses, and he's out. Eliminated in 5th.
Swing low, sweet chariot.
Another Macau boy bites the dust.
Coming for to carry me home.
The jungle's getting closer and closer.
4, then 3. Heads up, we're all screwed.
Who is the chip leader? You, is it?
Yeah, he is chip leader. Warning, jungle is approaching.
Yep.
Yeah.
And he's got the t-shirt to prove it.
Pocket 5s for Dan Coleman. He raises under the gun.
Oh, hi, Livebury.
Folded around to Richard Young in the big blind. King Jack. He calls. Heads up to the flop.
Oh, these Macau boys stick together. That's sweet. They're sweet.
And that flop is all Coleman. He is a 98% favorite with middle set.
Boop. That's my new flop a set noise. I've been working on it. What do you think? Boop.
Hate it. Coleman continues for 200,000.
Or you?
I call.
Wow, huge misstep from Young.
Wow.
Yeah.
Pretty sure that wasn't Cantonese.
Richard Young is drawing to a chop.
Alright, that's a good situation.
And now he's drawing dead.
輸緊啊嘛。
Again.
咩啊
The last of the Macau boys shot down.
咩啊？
And how about that Dan Coleman? You're the man now, dog!
Richard Young walks away with more than 637,000 euros.
And you know what happens the second the one less experienced guy goes broke, right? You talk turkey. Or in this case, deal.
You can discuss deals in EPTs, right?
In what?
EPTs, you can discuss deals.
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. Jungle, do you want to discuss the deal?
I haven't actually done it before.
We'll look first
Yeah,
at
yeah, yeah.
what every stack is worth.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, they can't be worth much. We got the chips on sale.
Well, here are the stacks as the final 3 look at redistributing the remaining prize money. Coleman has a sizable advantage, not that much separating Cates and Kurganov right now.
So this is our stack worth
Our stack.
in thousands of euros.
Yeah,
so what
yeah.
we do is we have to look if we take money out so that it's the same ratio
Yeah.
and that the other ratio stays the same. Then we have not really
Yeah,
changed
yeah,
anything.
yeah.
115 and 240 would be the price jumps right now. So we take out 355 total.
We're playing for 356, 400 extra. 1.16 300, 1.28 300. It's a total of 3 million. And difference for the 3 million,
Okay.
it's now the 356 400.
Sure.
Okay?
Yeah.
If I get second, yeah, I get the most.
Sick brag.
If you don't get second, you're a fish.
Burn.
And the last one, please. And then I make a shake hands, and then I just ask you to make a shake hands because for our, you know.
Thank
for
you
the
very
trainer.
much.
Thank you. Good luck.
We'll shake hands, make it
Good
official.
job. Good job.
Oh, so many handshakes.
So they're all guaranteed more than $1 million, and because Coleman's got the most chips, he's guaranteed the most amount of money. But there's still a lot in play. An additional 115,400 euros for the runner-up, an additional 241k for the winner, plus of course the title and trophy. So how does the reigning champ see this playing out?
I would really like to see Igor winning because he hasn't been winning a tournament for the last year, I think, so far, and he was on a pretty bad run for the last 8 months, as soon as I know, and he's a very strong player. I really respect him, and see him winning would make me feel like he deserved it, yeah.
You know what I like best about Igor? He's a hugger.
Blinds are 60-120, and we are sweating with Igor Kurganov. We'll only see his whole cards here. Facing a raise from Dan Cates on the button, Igor defends with King 6 and flops top pair.
Well, this is what we wanted, I think.
Kurganov checks.
And checking's the right play. We want Dan to bet.
Cates continues for 240,000.
Seems like a pretty obvious spot for a just call, but we don't want it to look like it's an obvious spot for a just call. Plus, we're Igor Kurganov, so we're like real deep and probably thinking about the world's problems a little bit too at the same time.
Kurganov calls.
Anybody's guess what Jungle Man's thinking of.
10 on the turn. Igor checks a second time.
Well, if Jungle Man bets again, it will get a little scarier.
He does fire again, 595,000.
But remember, we're playing against a wide button range, so I don't think this card is too bad for us. I think we gotta call down again. There's some rivers we can maybe fold on. Oh yeah, I like how we're going for the big chips too. We don't need to hoard them. They're coming back.
Kurganov calls again, taking this pot to over 2.2 million. The river card is the 7 of diamonds, pairing the board.
It's actually a pretty good card for us.
Kurganov checks a third time.
Obviously, we're fine with a check behind.
It doesn't look like Cates is checking behind.
No, that's not happening.
He's counting out a third bet.
This amount is going to be pretty crucial.
That's a pretty big bet, nearly 1.5 million.
Well, it's certainly not a bomb. I just think this is too good of a run out to fold. We're beating all of his bluffs. We're chopping a lot of his value hands. Time to make like an old-fashioned courtship and call.
Call.
Igor does call.
Aces.
That's bad. That's really bad.
Daniel Cates gets 3 streets of value and takes the chip lead.
Well, we aren't chopping that value hand. My bad, guys, but hey, at least we took that deal, right? Right.
Cates up to 6.4 million. While Igor Kurganov is left with just 15.5 big blinds, can he turn things round again at the final table of this super high roller? Just 3 players remain at the PokerStars at Monte Carlo Casino EPT Grand Final Super High Roller. It's been a journey of highs and lows, with all 3 at one point holding the chip lead. As it stands, the current tournament boss is Dan Jungleman Cates.
My name Jungleman came from when I first started playing live poker. I played with a group of people. They like kind of mockingly called me Jungleman because I was like a little bit strange to them, and I had long hair. And was just really hairy in general, so they thought I was like kind of like a jungle man, like a guy from the jungle.
Huh. Dan Cates' friend should see Joe Stapleton.
Hey, I resemble that remark.
Blinds are up to 80,000, 160,000 with a 20,000 ante.
155 plus 160.
Kurganov is the short stack.
I'm all in.
Call.
Coleman shoves small to big and Kurganov calls.
Not that good. You definitely have a flip.
Standard 11 bigs deep.
In reverse.
We got the aces. All the aces.
He has 1 ace, just the one.
2 flush draws for me.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. That's not true. Oh, it is.
That's true. I think you flopped me dead.
Probably.
Flop not dead, but pretty thin.
The toughest.
He's got to lose one eventually, right?
Not true.
I'm not sure that's true, man.
See?
Coleman picks up additional outs. Igor has to fade a queen, jack, or 8 on the river.
Big rail for Kurgles. Everybody loves this guy.
Is this the beginning of his second comeback today? No!
Good hand, man. Good game, a very good game.
Kurganov eliminated in 3rd.
It's okay.
Yeah. Jungle, jungle, jungle.
Kurganov came into the final table as the short stack. He walks away with more than $1 million.
And his charity's getting 10% of that. Not bad.
And now we're heads up.
Good luck, jungle.
2 Dans who are both heads-up specialists.
2 Dans who have been owning online for years. It's only fitting they're now owning a super high roller on the EPT.
They're pretty even in chips. Cates has the slight advantage.
But Cates does not have the sleep advantage. Dangerous. Fatigue kills.
Ace-queen for Dan Coleman on the button in the small blind. He raises to 375,000. Queen 6 for Cates.
First hand a heads up, and it's Domination Nation.
Cates defends.
Even though we know he's dominated, it's perfectly reasonable hand to defend heads up.
Coleman's ace high still good.
C-bet.
Check.
No, he checks behind.
Maybe he already likes his showdown value.
7 of diamonds on the turn. Cates picks up a flush draw.
Not a stellar turn for Coleman.
Cates fires 525,000.
I would not be at all surprised if Coleman just folded here. Slightly more surprised that he's calling, yeah.
1.8 million in the pot. Cates looking for a diamond or a 6. It's the 4 of hearts.
I check.
It goes check, check.
Queen high.
Ace high wins.
Really?
It was also a little surprising that Cates just shut down on the river. Maybe he's just too physically tired to lift chips to bluff. Look, he can't even hold his own head up.
And with that hand, Dan Coleman takes the chip lead.
I think we're even in chips now.
Possibly.
Well, you're almost never exactly even.
50 big blinds for Dan Coleman, 45 big blinds for Dan Cates. We're still playing 8160 with a 20k ante, and we're sweating with Dan Cates, who has exactly the same cards as the previous hand. Queen of diamonds, 6 of spades.
Hooray!
He raises his button. Makes it 320,000.
Please don't 3-bet, please don't 3-bet.
Coleman just calls. The flop. King, king, queen.
Pair of queens for us, heads up, I'll take it.
Check, check. 6 on the turn.
Yes! 3 pair! Ship it! Wait a second, I'm sorry. I'm just kind of learning some of the game here.
Coleman leads the turn for 480,000.
We kind of have to call this, and first we also kind of have to wake up.
He does call. The river card, the 7 of spades.
And again, I say we have to call any reasonable bet here.
How do you define reasonable? That is 2/3 of the pot.
That's a pretty big bet, but this hand is too strong to fold.
Call.
Queen 9.
Cates is outkicked.
Oh, that's gross. 0 for 2 today. 0 for 2.
Yeah, I'm good.
Didn't think you were bluffing. It's okay, Mr. Green. I'm gonna run good on all-ins.
That's your plan? The Igor plan?
Yeah. I haven't run that good this far in all-ins. I've just
Have
made
you
a
even
bunch
been
of
all in?
hands.
Huh? Have you been all in?
No.
Yeah. I feel like you haven't had any big all in pots.
Not in a long time.
Wow. You're that good, huh?
So Dan Coleman significantly increases his chip advantage, much to the delight of his mentor.
I'm really happy for Dan. Obviously, this is like an epic heads-up match with him and Jungle Man. They might be the 2 best heads-up players in the world, you know. I actually think that my friend Dan Coleman has the edge here. And also, I just think right now he's just in the groove. Has a lot of confidence. I would make him the favorite.
Dan Coleman has got confidence. He's got body spray commercial levels of confidence.
And he's got pocket 10s.
Look at that. I say body spray, 2 10s come along. God bless marketing.
He raises to 400,000. Cates with 8-5 in the big blind.
You know how I'm always like, oh, it's heads up, you can play anything. Well, this is a hand you can actually fold if you want.
Cates does not fold.
He don't want.
He calls.
Might have to start digging into those blue chips soon.
Well, Dan Cates flops an up and down straight draw. Coleman a 2-1 favorite with his overpair.
It's a pretty good flop for when you defend with 8-5, or as I like to call it, the back to the future hand.
Coleman continues for 400k.
I raised to 1,000.
It's 1,000?
1 million, yeah.
Oh man, he is so cooked.
It's a check raise semi-bluff from Cates.
And much like twerking, Coleman is going nowhere.
He calls, taking the pot to nearly 3 million. King on the turn.
When Coleman calls the raise, I think he really wants Jungle Man to barrel the turn.
Cates does not oblige, he checks. Doesn't look like Coleman will check behind. That's a bet of 750,000.
Betting small to induce, but as a result, he's given Jungle Man a great price to draw.
Alternatively, Cates could go for the double check raise.
Where we're going, we don't need 5th Street.
Nope, it's just a call. Taking the pot to 4.4 million. The river card is a 5. Gives Kate a small pair.
Not a ton of showdown value, though.
Check.
He goes check, check.
Here are 5s.
I call you.
All right. I was trying to figure out what the you'd think I have if I show up.
Yeah. You never have a 7.
I played that hand really good.
What? You're in the greenie zone there.
I'm in the greenie zone now.
Some classic banter here, kids.
And Kate is now in the danger zone.
I think you're gonna fold a hand
call
like
right
that.
away.
I was thinking you fold like
Reinforcements.
No. Oh wow. Let me count my stack.
You're done.
See? Confidence.
Queen 10 for Kate.
It's 1 million, 2 million. I'm all in.
You're all in. Ooh, first card's good, jungle. How much is it?
Little enough to call.
2.2 or so.
2.2. I call.
Coleman calls and is ahead.
Queen 10.
King 6.
Yes.
Yeah, I guess there's a call.
Big title and money on the line.
Damn it, I thought I might even have the best
No,
hand.
jungle, let's see how your all-in game is.
It's pretty good, remember?
We're gonna see.
Maybe I ran out of all-ins though.
We're gonna see, man.
Coleman pairs is 6.
Uh-oh.
Kate still has 2 live cards.
I don't know, I'm feeling
You got some good turn cards.
I'm feeling it this time, honestly. I'm pretty sure you're gonna lose this one.
He's out-confidencing you, bro.
The turn card is another 3. Coleman on the verge of victory now.
Jungle.
Unless it's a queen or a 10 on the river, we have a winner. It's a blank.
Wow, how did I lose that one?
Did it.
Impossible.
Dan Coleman has taken down the super high roller here in Monaco, defeating the other Dan, Dan Cates.
We all knew it was going to be a barn burner, and these dudes are spent. Now give Papa a hug.
Hey, man. Feels good. Thanks, man.
When I left you, I was but the learner. Now I am the master. So after the elimination of the Macau boys, the final 3 agreed a deal. Kurganov, who started the day as the short stack, cashed for 1.1 million. Cates gets nearly 1.3 million for second. Dan Coleman is the super high roller champ.
Our winner with 1.54 million, Dan Coleman.
So Dan Coleman claims the last Super High Roller trophy of Season 10. Once again, big names dominated the field. But it was the Macau boys who left their mark. Igor Kurganov spun up his short stack to bag a 7-figure payday.
What a run.
But it was heads-up specialist Dan Coleman who triumphed over rival Dan Cates.
Let me count my stack.
You're done.
Coleman was on the line for 300 grand, but ended up with the title and a prize of 1.5 million euros. Next time, there's $1 million on the line as we enter the shark cage.